Oh, hey there. Thanks for tuning in to our premiere episode. On this episode, we talk about how 2020 has affected our improv communities, our communities at large, and our individual lives. We also get into the presidential debate, of course, and the upcoming election. Welcome to the Elise and John Show, hosted by myself, Elise Rodriguez, and John Gebritatios.
Ta-da, 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 ta.
2020.
That's right. What a year. What a year it's been. It's in Minnesota right now. It's already snowing. It's weird. It's a blizzard because that's what kind of year it has been.
Is it really a blizzard right now?
No, but it's getting a little too comfortable too fast. Like we've had a couple of snowstorms already. We're used to snow, but like not this early. It's just like, okay. And personally, I'm like, fine, whatever. Like 2020, you want to be done that quick? Go
for
on.
it.
Like she can come and go.
Yeah, shuffle on out of here.
Yeah.
Hold on, because I feel like everybody's been saying like 2020 I can't wait till it's over. It's the worst year ever. And I feel like even, for me, although I have not had the Black experience this year, I will say that this year has been one of the best, most important years of my life because of the amount of expansion and awareness, right, that has happened.
Okay.
Painful.
Yeah, thank God.
The shit hurts. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. What nobody wants to hear is like the most productive and efficient year. I thought that's what you were gonna say.
No. Oh yeah, I got so much done. All y'all were out there dying, getting shot. You know what I was doing? I was getting busy. No, I'm saying like it's important. Like it just has done, like, ultimately we now can't turn back and pretend that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's right. That's real.
But I mean, it would have been nice if people didn't have to die and all.
Honestly, yeah, if this has not been a year for you in that regard, I don't trust you. If you have not been like spiritually awakening, consciousness awakening, if that has not been a thing, I don't trust you. You have to be a serial killer because that's the kind of year it's been. There's no middle ground on
I mean, things have just become so much more clear. Before things were nuanced, like in government, for example, like we knew there was some weird shit going on out there, but we didn't know.
Right.
We couldn't know. But now we just have an idiot that's president. And he's like, hey, this is all the stupid shit we actually do out here.
I was telling my friend, I was like, is it, are we at that place now where the politicians who are racist, can't they just look at the camera and say, I hate niggers, and then go? Do they have to do the long lie and the spiel and the dog whistle? Yeah, just say what you got to say and go. Just say it. Like,
just get up and roll.
We're at that point.
Yeah.
Where none of their
make it easy for us at this point.
Yeah. And themselves. Aren't they exhausted of having to play that game of, oh no, not me, no. Stand by, stand by. Stand down, stand by though. What?
It's odd. They must be tired.
Holy shit.
They must be tired of sitting on all their money. But beyond that, right? Like beyond government, let's say, for me, friendships have become more clear.
Yeah.
I have, particularly like a group of women, I've been able to be like, all right, like this is where it's at.
Oh,
this is where we sit and we like heal together, you know?
Yeah. That's cool.
I mean, I was always grateful for them, but I feel like I'm even more grateful for the people. I hate to say the term like-minded because it sounds like you're not open to other people, but I mean, shit, it's a relief to be in a room with people and be like, oh, you're not hateful. Great. Let's hang.
Yes, that's right. That's real. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, you're not homophobic? Thank God. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so glad we got that out.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, our cousins, some of these cousins are tripping out here, right? Some of these family members, woo.
Oh, family. Wow. That's another thing that's happened this year, right? Conversations within families. my family's always been very open and honest, but this year it's always been like, all right, well, you think that and I think this. We're just gonna eat the shrimp at this dinner table right now. And now it's like, no, I'm about to chuck the shrimp at your ass right now. Like, this shrimp is hitting your forehead in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a food fight. There's no
2020 is the biggest food fight we've ever had.
This country has ever had. There's so much that has happened. The bee hornets. Wow.
Did they ever make it? Like, did they ever finally murder someone?
No, and that's what made it even more scary and disappointing. Is that we were expecting to die by these, and we were like, what? That's even more sick. That's more sinister to be like, we're coming to get you. And they don't wait. And it actually feels
realistic. Like, for us to hear, oh, there's killer bees. Of course.
Of course. Yeah. But what really did happen is we had the fire tornadoes. So Mother Nature just has been on one too. You know, like, don't trip. This is the year Mother Nature was like, oh, y'all just gonna have a pandemic? Well, then I'm gonna go ahead and just like, shit, we all taking our bonnets off. We're all like, it is what it is then. Little fire hurricane over here. And then also, while y'all don't trash the world, how about some beautiful dolphins in the canals of Italy? Mm-hmm. You know, there was like a moment when we all just like sat our ass down and like the earth was just like, look at what could be. Yeah. Look at what could be. And we were like,
I could totally hear a Disney song coming out of that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Disney's going to make a movie out of 2020.
Everybody was like, this is so beautiful. And then Disney needs to edit out our response, because our response was like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm ready to go back to work and fuck it up.
I really want to go to the gym. I really just need to go to the gym. Like, these dolphins are great. I was talking to one of my improviser friends. His name is Sean. I love him very much. And we were talking in that time where people really needed their gyms to be open. I was talking to him and he's like, yeah, did you see about the people that went to go protest in front of the government buildings about gyms and they started doing push-ups outside of the government buildings? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, so they're essentially proving that they don't need a gym to work out.
Yeah. Fool, you are displaying your ass right now. You're an asshole. Yeah, so it's been quite the year. A lot of connections. Improv has been evolving.
Yeah.
The industry's changed. People can't go in the theaters, so what do? There's been a lot of virtual stuff, but a lot of call-outs. Holy smokes.
Big time.
Yeah.
The institutions have taken quite a hit.
Yes, they have.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to track. Used to be rumors and whispers, and now it's like cover or in a New York Times article.
Right.
This theater, Second City, this theater, and this theater. Some of them theaters got some stories, and they're really good to learn from.
Well, I mean, look, when you and I first started talking about doing this show, I remember that it was around the time I was obviously in the pandemic, so I was listening to much more podcasts. And I was just listening to them more consistently. And every time that I listened to an improv podcast, it was typically, people that came from Second City or just like the big, UCB or the Groundlings or the big institutions of improv, and the people that really made it. They made it onto TV or they made it onto SNL. And they were all pretty much white men. And that just has, and to show to me that, like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Why am I only hearing white male voices on most of these podcasts? In addition to being hosted by mostly white male voices.
Right.
So that just tells us that, like, we have been revering for so many years, not that they didn't have the talent. Sure, they had the talent, but of course they had the talent. Right? Of course they had it, because they were able to go to these institutions and they were able to have the privilege to get educated in that way. And so many theaters, by the way, have never given scholarships, or like, in order to be on their cast, you have to get through their whole curriculum. And if you move to a new place, you might be a seasoned improviser. No, you got to start from level 101. It's...
That's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. We kind of have a have that here. So it's like
I moved to Sarasota from Miami, and I was in Miami already performing on main stage and whatnot. And when I moved here, I was very lucky that Will Luera, which I'm sure we will have on this show at some point. Will Luera was like, yeah, come on in. He invited me to rehearsal immediately. It wasn't this kind of like bureaucratic, well, you have to pay for classes thing, which I appreciated because it really launched me forward as an improviser, professional improviser.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And that's such a rarity. Mm-hmm. That's so sad. That's so rare. It could be so easy. It could be so simple, but the business model isn't. It's not elegant, is it? Yeah, you're making money over the students. Yeah, not elegant. No, that's your whole business model. Yeah, well, try again.
So have you been watching like Aussie TV or something? Because you've been very inspired by this accent recently.
Yeah, that's the only one I can do. I'm trying to do an England one, and it ends up going Australia, New Zealand, which I'm fine with. I'm fine. Harambe. I want to talk about this real quick. Harambe was the starting point for a lot of for this new wave of young gamers. So Harambe was able to encapsulate not only like a racist dog whistle joke, but within that it became sexist and all those things. And those young gamers were these young kids who were, I don't know, 9, 10 years old, babies, right? And all of a sudden they got into like YouTube game culture and memes, and then Harambe was like the gateway drug to like to a lot of the shit that these kids are. That's why you have like a Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever his name is, the kid that shot up the protester, and it's like, we're not saying that kid is a direct result of that. I'm just saying, wow, how impressionable and how easy that flame just like started. Which is, there's something to be said about like, damn, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The Harambe thing, did that ignite a lot of these kids in their racist culture? I don't know, but like, it's funny how it was like this easy entrance and access to a world of, because I've been thinking about this shit, like, where did this, we all know online comments are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, nobody but I, like, when did the kids all of a sudden how did they find their clubs? And it was like, oh, memes. That's like
memes are portal. Like, they have literally permeated our culture. Mm-hmm. For me, I just don't understand, like, when did the first meme start? And how are we where we are now, where I literally will scream laugh at a meme for a good, I'll come back and look at it again. You know what I mean? But I think creatively, like based on what you're saying right now and what you're talking about, like it's online. It feels like people have to free reign creatively. And then that's where all of the darkness comes out, right? Like even in improv, when we're on stage, we are asking people to don't use your frontal lobe. Don't even have any forethought. Just kind of talk, right? And then that's where the moments happen where we're like, all right, let's pause. Let's talk about that comment, right? So I think that once the brain is allowed to free associate and go down that rabbit hole, I think that all of that stuff starts to come out. All right, so it's time for a segment. It is called...
We asked people a question and they responded. Da-da-da-da.
So here's what we asked for this episode. It was a call to BIPOC performers. Have you experienced a shift in inclusion this year in your improv communities? If so, what have those changes looked like? If not, what the fuck? So that's what we put out. There have been a lot of shifts in inclusion in this year, at least in the improv community, or at least it was starting to be much more addressed and talked about. What do you think? Do you think people are optimistic right now? BIPOC performers, do you think that generally we're optimistic that when we get back on stage, this will all translate to the stage? You don't?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I think... I think on the flip though, there's a certain kinship and awareness now that it wasn't there before within the BIPOC community.
I'm with you on that.
So within the community, there's definitely a new platform, a new understanding that's actually there. Yeah, like the show is a result of that.
I was talking to Whit Shiller the other day, who also has a podcast.
Whit Shiller?
Whit Shiller?
Whit Shiller?
We just put his name on a rap song. Whit Shiller? That's it. He's the Mike Will made it. Anyway. So he asked me, like, so what do you think about all of this that's going on? And I said, well, all that we have right now is Zoom. Like, all we have right now is the internet to talk about these things. So he said, do you think it's all lip service? And I was like, well, right now that's the only thing that we can do is lip service, because we can't actually, other than having forums, we can't actually put it all on stage and put it on its feet.
That's right.
So right now it is kind of just talking about it until you can be about it.
That's right. And then what does be about it mean for them, for the institutions? They got to figure that out, because, we know what it means for us. You know for sure what's changed for me, at least. But we'll get to these answers now that we got. But for me, like yesterday or a couple days ago, I heard somebody talking about a sketch show that they had worked on, right? Yeah. And normally you just would, like before this year, I would just listen to this and I would be like, oh man, that's cool. And they were talking about the sketches that they came up with. Mm-hmm. But then at one point, the person that I was speaking to started to like reminisce about this. And she was like, oh yeah, it was me and this person and this person and this person and this person. And in my head, I was like, white. I just couldn't help but realize that she was listing off literally just white people. And I was like, well, I can't enjoy this moment with you now, because now I'm just so hyper aware of this. I'm glad you had a fun time on your sketch, and I'm sure it's great. But all that I hear is exclusion. Yeah, exactly. And it's not her fault. She's not the one running it. She's not running her theater. Respectfully decline in joining in on the fun with you. Respectfully cannot join in. So sorry. That's for sure something that I feel like going forward, like anytime that we talk about moments on stage, they're better, like list the cast that was on that stage that day. Yeah. That's real. All right. So we got a couple answers. One of the answers that we got was from Stephanie Ray. So Stephanie Ray says that in her experience, theaters are being much more open about conversations surrounding diversity and want to be proactive about creating safer spaces for all. She does acknowledge that not everything is perfect, or that she believes everyone is motivated by a true passion for equity. Yes, snaps for that. But she feels like she's seeing progress and she feels encouraged. She says, we've got a ways to go, but we're moving in the right direction. And I think there's enough public pressure for most people to be uncomfortable publicly supporting the status quo. Great answer. So I guess part of the question, she makes a good point. Part of the question is what's the motivation? Like, okay, great, we're going to see inclusion. Yeah. What is your motivation? Is it actually inclusive or is it just because that's what we're supposed to be doing? Because everybody's posting, a simple black image on their Instagram pages. Yeah. Why are you doing it? I have yet to see an institution. And again, look, we're at that place now. If you're a white institution and you're doing it just to pat yourself on the back, you can do that now. I feel like you might get canceled, but hey, we are done being surprised. So just go out and do it and just say, hey, my name is Hank Schwartz at Otto. And listen, we support Black Lives Matter to pat ourselves on the back. That's why we do it. Stephanie says also that she makes a good point in the sense that now we're seeing more scholarships. She says that there are 51 theaters around the world that have committed to at least 5 scholarships for Black improvisers so that they can have a community, right? Some have committed to 10, 20 or more. So she's saying that we have more opportunities than we have had for students at the moment. So we're working hard to make improv more mainstream in Black communities and find more people willing to try it. So seeing theaters step up to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to diversity makes me happy. The theaters involved have also committed to having a clear code of conduct and an incident reporting process, so there's accountability when something happens that shouldn't. Thank you, Stephanie, for your input, because we're with you on this. Thank you so much, Stephanie Ray. And I want to say you're welcome to everybody who's used huge policies. Huge theaters. I want to just say, no. Listen, credit where credit is due, right? No, that's just me being stupid. I think That's incredibly profound and well thought out. You know, like she also talked about that initiative to have 51 theaters on board.
Yeah.
She said that's an amazing initiative right there, where she is said to the community, hey, I am a black woman, listen to me, here's what we need. And then the community responded accordingly, which I think is good, which is how it should be. It should be that simple. Like, all you got to do now, if you're a white institution, is just double down on what Stephanie's doing.
Yeah, and to be clear, these 51 theaters are all involved with Black Improv Alliance.
Yes.
Which Stephanie rocks.
Yeah, the Black Improv Alliance is a great company based out of Miami.
Yeah.
The question still remains, do we trust you?
And I think that's a big part of it. I think that all of the theaters that are going to start making these changes, hopefully all of them will make these changes. But I think there's going to have to be a very, very long period of understanding that the BIPOC community is going to tread lightly. And maybe even if you say, well, we have an open door policy, like, tell us what you're thinking. That doesn't mean that everybody's just gonna be like, okay, great, safe. It's safe. This is a safe space. Let me go make a report. These theaters are gonna have to make the effort to hold steady and build that trust.
Absolutely. And what a great opportunity. And what a great opportunity to change the mindset around a lot of things, like being called in and called out. Like, doesn't have to be filled with so much shame and whatever, what have you. Like, we can really start to make it actually enticing, actually cool.
Yep.
Like, if somebody calls me out or whatever, or calls me in, and hey, like, if it's an actual education thing, I'm going to marry that person. How thoughtful are they? Thank you so much. You cared about, like, my growth, my evolution. Yeah. You wanted to do this thing that's going to be scary because nobody wants to, you know, make people hurt. But, like, we need to change the whole idea around it. Like, look at that. You came to me and said, hey, let me help you out. Let me make you better. Thank you. They're not the evil people for having a message. Been trying to help.
We got one more response from our prompt online. For our segment, we asked people a question and they responded.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
Okay, so the response came into our DMs, so we're going to keep it confidential as to who this person was.
All right. That's right.
I've become aware of more theaters, so I'm seeing the public conversations. At some of those same theaters, though, their leadership and new course offerings remain fairly white. I've experienced and witnessed more diversity scholarships available across many different marginalized communities. With most theaters operating online, I've seen more diverse jams from some theaters. I've also seen and participated in jams run by performers not in official leadership roles. Yes, I want to talk about that. This person also says that these were people who just wanted to make things happen now. I'm hopeful for more performers to take up this latter approach to the point where institutions will have to improve to stay relevant and competitive. Hell yes.
Yes, pop off.
Yeah, pop off. I think, and I've also told you this before, but I think that this pandemic and everybody having to go online and money being irrelevant in the sense that you had money to have a stage, you had money to have a building, you had money to have, you know, teachers, right? All of that, it was out the window because we couldn't do any of that in person, and the internet, though it's not free, it's much more accessible. So once we had accessibility, well, shit. BIPOC performers are out here doing the damn thing.
Yes.
So it's an equalizer. I felt like this year, again, like I wish that people didn't have to die, right? Like I wish we weren't in a pandemic to be doing this and getting sick, but it was an equalizer for sure.
Holy cow. This was like I'm echoing exactly what you're saying, but like to know that on any day of the week I can scroll down Facebook events and I know at least one of the events is going to have, you know, if it isn't all BIPOC cast, it's going to have a couple of BIPOC people. That's not normal. That's not a normal thing. But like this is like, this is it. This is what we got now. Yeah. And some of these like BIPOC shows online are amazing. They're Yeah, they're so rich, they're so funny, so much humor, so much. Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't predict what's gonna happen, but I think if we keep the same energy, I think we're in good hands. We got a good solid thing going in the
and I think that brings us back to, especially with this last comment that we got, it brings us back to like now we are more in community with each other as BIPOC performers. I could say that I totally felt helpless. Like before this, like, yeah, of course I was having a blast. I love improv and we all love improv and that's why we're still doing this. But I would like to say that I definitely felt in many occasions helpless in terms of like power when it came to mainstream theater. And I think that I we were in it, and then now that we're out of it, I look back and I'm like, well, now I'm even more fucking mad. I was mad before, and I was trying to say things to y'all, but now I'm even more fucking mad.
Yeah. Yep. You should have listened. You motherfucker. But come get this pop off. Pop off. You should have been out here a long time ago, you shady bitches. Why? I had to tell my white friends, why am I now just hearing about ska music? I didn't know that it was started by people of color. I did not know. You should have been told me.
Oh, so before we move on to our next segment, I read today, now that you're saying that, I read today an article that talked about how The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, it was somebody who had written about how it actually is about cultural appropriation.
What?
Yes.
Break it
because
down.
Jack Skellington. So I will find it, and then when we post the episode, I'll find it. I'll put up the link to it. But she writes about how
Easter egg.
She writes about how it's all about how Jack Skellington, right? Have you seen the movie?
No.
I've only seen it 587 times, and I can sing every song. Okay. But anyway, Jack Skellington in The Night Before Christmas, it's like seasoned towns, right? So he lives in Halloween Town, and every year all they do is prepare for Halloween. So he goes and he sneaks off into the woods one day because, he's all feeling all sad and lonely about how it's always the same shit every year. Mm-hmm. And he stumbles across these trees, right? And they're trees that lead you in. This sounds like I'm explaining an improv scene, right? Like it sounds crazy, but it's a kid's movie.
No, I'm following along. And why am I following along? Because of the preface that this is cultural appropriation.
You're like, oh, I'm listening. I will figure it out.
Yes.
So he stumbles upon this forest, right, where there's a bunch of trees, and in each tree you can go into a different town that focuses on each holiday. So he kind of like falls into the Christmas town, and he's like, there's this whole amazing song. What's this? And he doesn't know what snow is. He's like, there's light bulbs. People are happy. He comes from Halloween Town. So he's like, this is what I needed. Like, this is all that I needed. Like, I just needed this inspiration.
All I want for Christmas is a Mariah Carey album to steal. You son of a bitch. That's what they did.
So
I'm gonna watch it now. I'm gonna watch it right now.
It's so good. And he steals
after this.
Like he just after we hang up today, you're gonna watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm not lying. Yes. Now with this new lens, normally I'd be like, go fuck yourself some fantasy. I don't got time for. Yeah. I'm an adult.
No, this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
With this theory, I
watch it every year.
I'm going in. Liar, gentrifier.
So he goes in and he starts to take what the article says is that very specifically, he doesn't talk to anybody at Halloween Town. He just says, I'm going to go do this now.
Yeah.
And you'll see in the movie, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it pretty much totally backfires on him. And it's good.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, how's that pumpkin spice latte taste now?
Okay, our next segment is called Things That Are Happening Currently. I mean, this is highbrow stuff, people.
Okay, so right now people are probably thinking about the next fun in their life, which is probably like Halloween and what they're going to wear, what costumes.
What? I can't even think.
Yeah, there's a whole population of people that have not let up. Certain holidays are for some people, like that's just some people, they are gravitated towards a certain holiday. And for the Halloween nights, Halloween fiends, the ones that are like, Halloween is my holiday, those people, they're diehard. They're like Philadelphia Eagle fans. They will kill you. If you talk about that holiday, you mess with that holiday. They're not playing around.
Well, I don't know what anybody's doing for Halloween this year, but I'm going to be sitting around anxiously waiting for the end of Election Day, okay? Because I'll tell you what, last night, that debate was just another freaking Halloween nightmare, all right?
It was bad. That was bad. Yeah. What did you think about last night's debate?
It was the first time that I actually sat for an extended period of time and listened to Donald Trump speaking.
Yeah. How was that? What was that like?
That was infuriating and also infuriating. He's just literally spewing lies. Like there were specific moments that stood out to me. The moderator asked the both of them to address the families of either people who have been affected by social injustices, particularly people in primarily Black communities. And then there was also a moment where they were asked to address directly the families that have been affected by deaths of COVID. And both times, Donald Trump decided that he was just going to talk shit about Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And of course, not to mention the most important part of the whole debate, which I learned something new, that Donald Trump is the least racist person in that entire room.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the lights were on, but it was still like, but the house lights weren't on, so he couldn't see. But he tried to take a look. He tried to take a look to make sure.
The moment that he said, "I can't see because it's too dark," I was screaming. I was like, this dude doesn't even realize.
So stupid. It's so stupid. Then he did this other part too that was like, I don't know how it got to it, but he was like, I'm the best for Black people. The Blacks, because of me, the Blacks are now where the Blacks are at because of my care for the Blacks. And it's like, yo, first off, you're crazy. And then he said, I am the best the Blacks have ever had since Abraham Lincoln. And it's like, wow.
So what did you think about Biden's response to when they asked him about the law that he had brought in for drugs? Did you see that part?
Oh, yeah. He said sorry. He said sorry, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's the right direction. That's what the government should be doing. That's a step in the direction of some reparations. It's a step in the direction of actual healing. In this country, like a lot of these things are funny, but we're talking about serious stuff, like the fly meme. What some people, and they live for these little things that are gonna be dumb and funny, but we're talking about real things and real power that affects so many people's lives on a day to day, and then on top of that, 500 some odd families still are not reunited.
545.
Yeah. So not only citizens of America, but holy shit, if you're just trying to seek refuge, don't do it here. Not right now.
Yeah, no, really.
Don't.
The whole point, I think the whole time what he was doing was essentially, he just creates an alternate reality. So there's, I don't know the exact name of the theory, but there's a theory that the more outlandish that you lie, the more people tend to believe it. So if you give a small lie, people won't believe it, right? But if you give just this huge lie, which is pretty much all that he does, then people are more bound to believe it because it's just it's literally an alternate reality.
Yeah. That's why we got that video of that guy praying to Donald Trump in his car.
Was there a video of a man praying? No.
This white guy got pulled over and he was like, "Oh, dear Donald Trump, please help me."
Stop.
Yes. This is where we are. This is exactly to your point. This guy tells outlandish lies. People are praying to him like he's Jesus.
Well, another thing, even deeper than that, I feel the way that he expresses himself and the way that he just is constantly fear mongering, people who have, either mental illness or other vulnerabilities are so susceptible to falling victim to that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the part that I think gets me the most fired up about all of this. It's you literally are pandering directly to the people who would be vulnerable to fall for that.
Yeah, he's right on top of him. I love to see these TikToks of these conservatives that turned. You know, that they like in 2016, they were probably on these like hate sites and they're, you know, C-Chan or 4chan or whatever, 8chan. Just now they're like, this one person like has transitioned, I guess is a transgender woman. And you like would show clips. It was like from 2016. They're like, sorry, I'm so embarrassed. Please don't come for me. I used to be this like, you know, radical right wing. And this is what it took me forever to figure out. And then, you know, they came out, they transitioned to a woman and over the last 4 years. So we only get on the front page of stuff that's like these dumb Karens and all this stuff. But there's a lot of people that have like really woken up and have they cannot go back.
Well, I got to tell you, point for Biden, because at one point Donald Trump said, you know, he's calling me a xenophobe. And the moment it went back to Biden, he was like, I think you are a xenophobe, but not for this reason.
That's right.
So I was like, all right, get it? Get it?
Mean, to that apology, man, like what? Again, the bare minimum. Just do the bare minimum, people. Mm-hmm. It'll start to heal. Can't see actual reparations or practical like applications of some sort of restorative justice for our people back in the society until we have a black woman president. I really can't see that actually happening. Again,
it's that trust. It's the trust aspect of it. I think that Joe Biden is I do trust that he's going to do what he can. Thanks for that. But I think that it's up to, at this point, it's above him.
Yep. But yeah, like it's over your head, Biden, at this kind of stage. Like we need representation on both ends.
I think he's going to win the election.
You could tell he's going to win. You could tell he's going to win because America's real calm, and they're just like, no, we're over it. Like if he don't win, we will burn this motherfucker down.
Yeah, we're done.
It's that breakup where it's like, oh, it's been over for a while.
I think he's gonna win, and when he does, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how we all process the fact that he won. I'm gonna cry either way, whoever wins. But I'm curious to see what it's gonna feel like.
You know, and I'm afraid. I'm not into fear mongering. That's not what the show's about. But on a realistic level, the night of the election or the week or whenever
hide your kids, hide your wife, lock your doors.
Yeah, they're coming in. Yep.
Close the windows, go to bed.
Hide your wife, hide your kids, It's just where we're at. It's scary. It's scary. They are only reporting the things that seem to be what leads up to the fight, a lot of the sizzle, but they don't show the aftermath. You know, there's a lot of families that, like the families of the people who've been murdered by police, they don't cover like the aftermath and the stress that leaves on people. And, you know, the news only talks about like one part of the story. There's more ripple effects that happens to
certainly
a lot of these people. So be safe. Be safe, everybody.
Hopefully it goes all nice and smooth and we can rest easy. I think it's going to be a big relief. I got to say, I did love what Joe Biden was saying. And because Donald Trump did keep saying like, oh yeah, the Democrat governors or whatever. He's really trying to be divisive. And Joe Biden was like, if I win, it's not even about that.
Yeah.
We need to be one America.
Yep.
And yep. I appreciate that. So hopefully he's able to carry that out. And I think with Kamala behind him or next to him, one could say, that will work out.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I think she's going to start running. I think she's going to run for president after this.
You think so?
Yeah, I think she will.
Ooh. A black woman president. It's already big enough that it's a big deal that we don't, it's not even talked about, but it's a big deal. We're about to have a first woman president, like in a presidential position, vice or what, like that's a big deal. And it's a woman of color.
It's huge.
What? That is not talked about as much as whatever fucking else. I don't know.
Because I think we started talking about that when Hillary was running against Trump. Like I remember being emotional about, oh my God, it's going to happen. We're going to have a woman president.
Yeah.
And then once it hit like 1 a.m. that night, I remember exactly where I was in my house. And I told my boyfriend, Daniel, get me the vodka. And he said, it's hot. I was like, bring me the hot vodka. it's happening. Like, this guy's what is happening? He's gonna win.
Oh.
And I think at that moment, we all took that idea of any female or any sort of non-white man president or vice president, we took it out of our brains. And I think you're right. I think for sure I haven't fully been into the appreciative moment of, oh my gosh, we're going to have a female president who's a black woman. Hopefully I'm able to process that soon. But as of this moment, like, it's just so much going on that I can't sit down and feel that.
Yeah, because misogyny is so real. Let's get to the election. Misogyny is so real, it won't let us appreciate it because there's a bigger story, quote unquote, which is two white men digging at the heels in their white menness.
Part of me was mad that Joe Biden ran it. Like, before we had picked him as the Democratic candidate officially, I was like, why are you running?
Yeah, get out the way. Yeah.
What are you running for? Like, because it's a personal goal of yours?
Yeah.
Okay, fucking go run 10 miles and go do a marathon like everybody else if you want to have a goal. But now I feel like, well, obviously this is what this particular country needed right now. Like, oh, we can only trust another white man. So of course.
It's true.
So hopefully now that Kamala will be the vice president, we can move forward. To close this out, I will say that astrology says that January begins the age of Aquarius. And in the age of Aquarius, we redo all of our systems from the bottom up.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's a wrap.
There you have it, friends and lovers, our first episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to our show on your favorite podcast platform. And please, please look alive, get to the polls, cast your vote, and use your voice. We'd like to thank our podcast friends for their support and time in helping us get the show into your earbuds. Becky Johnson of The H Word, Chris Middleton of Riverdale Rude Dudes, Patrick Jackson of The Black Hand Side, Lloydie James Lloyd from Improv Chronicle, Whit Shiller from Improv Comedy Connection, and Meghan and Maria of Good Luck High Five. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, go vote. Bye.